A self-driving car barrels down an icy road at dusk, its sensors registering 2 pedestrians, an elderly man clutching groceries and a child chasing a rolling ball, directly in its trajectory. There is no time to stop, only to swerve. In this fraction of a second, it is not a human driver making the impossible choice, but an algorithm, lines of code parsing probabilities, weighing the unimaginable, who to spare, who to sacrifice, who matters more. Here, at this crossroads of technology and ethics, the question surfaces: if a machine determines who lives and who dies, what becomes of morality? For centuries, the great traditions, whether religious texts or the philosophies of Kant, Bentham, and Confucius, have grappled with the burden of choosing between lives. Such dilemmas were seen as tragic because they forced a reckoning with our imperfect understanding and the terrible weight of agency. When King Solomon faced 2 women both claiming a child as their own, he invoked wisdom that cut beyond the apparent binary, revealing truth through a test of compassion. Embedded in these stories was the idea that moral acts were deeply human, inescapably messy, colored by empathy, frailty, and, importantly, the willingness to answer for their outcomes. Now, as algorithms increasingly arbitrate life and death situations, on roads, in hospitals, even in military theaters, we tiptoe into a new epoch. The machinery of decision has shifted, at least in part, to silicon and software. Moral calculus flows through servers, written not in the trembling hand of a doctor during triage, but in the clinical precision of code. The ostensible promise is tantalizing: impartial logic, efficiency, relief from bias. But as we hand the levers of fate to algorithms, something vital teeters on the precipice. To see why, return to the self-driving car. The algorithm faced with swerving must weigh loss against loss. Should it prioritize the younger life, the potential years ahead, or the vulnerability of the old? Perhaps the dataset was trained to optimize for the greatest number of life years saved, echoing Jeremy Bentham's utilitarian calculus. Or perhaps it follows an unbending rule, a kind of digital Kantianism, refusing ever to actively harm, no matter the consequence. But no matter the logic enshrined within, the algorithm itself does not feel. It does not lie awake haunted by its choice. It is not moved by the quiver in a voice, the hope in a look, the silent prayers uttered at the threshold of catastrophe. Some argue that this is a strength. Unencumbered by emotion, algorithms might neutralize our most dangerous prejudices. No more snap judgments colored by fear, by the shade of a person's skin, by the accent in their plea for help. Yet morality, stripped of soul, risks becoming arithmetic. Consider the early pandemic days, when hospitals around the world faced too few ventilators and too many gasping patients. Ethics committees rushed to write guidelines, some of which were translated into algorithms to assign care. Who gets the last ventilator? The pregnant mother, the elderly musician, the homeless man. Raw calculations can tell us who has the highest statistical chance of survival, who is worth saving, but can they express mercy, justice, or the hope that even a single saved life can change the world? At stake is not only what choices get made, but how we bear responsibility. When a nurse triages in a crisis, the decision may weigh upon her for a lifetime. There is sorrow, but also, perhaps, the seed of accountability. Algorithms, by contrast, create a buffer, slipping blame into the anonymity of the system. The model made that call. If morality is not just about outcomes, but about our willingness to answer for them, then something profound is lost when algorithms decide in our place. Religions and philosophies across ages, from the Bhagavad Gita to Levinas, have insisted that to see another as fully human is to stand before them in radical encounter, to be called into moral relation. The other is not a variable, their suffering is not reducible to a digit. Even the best algorithms, trained on oceans of data, cannot understand what it is to meet someone's gaze, to sense dignity and desperation in their voice. When machines decide who gets saved, the risk is that we grow accustomed to decisions without encounter, compassion replaced by calculation. Yet it would be naive to imagine turning back the clock. The scale and complexity of our world means that some form of algorithmic triage, whether allocating organ transplants, disaster resources, or protection from harm, is inevitable. The way forward lies not in abandoning technology, but in remembering what only humans can bring. We must program, not just for efficiency or fairness, but with humility for the limits of statistical knowledge. We must confront the temptation to abdicate responsibility and, instead, remain answerable, even, and especially, when the decision flows from software we have built. Perhaps morality, at its heart, is not about always choosing rightly, but about becoming the kind of beings for whom the choice is excruciating, whose souls are marked by the burdens they carry. An algorithm may process information faster and more accurately than any person, but it will never learn the art of regret, never ache to redeem a mistake, never love the ones it saves. So when we allow algorithms to decide who lives and who dies, we must remember, the cost of certainty can be our own moral growth. In pursuing perfect decisions, we risk losing what makes a decision truly ours. The machines will keep learning, but will we?